What a game. Phenomenal game. You guys wanted some playoff basketball? There is some playoff basketball for you guys. Big time win. Big time game. Ugly game. Talk about muddying the water. I tried telling everybody earlier today when I was doing my show this morning that this one's going to get ugly. Phenomenal win for the Lakers. 104-98 over the Houston Rockets. I'm looking here at some of the stats. 11 straight home wins versus the West for the Lakers at home. Let's put all that to the side. Let me just – Lakers were given two key important tests. One on Saturday night against the Memphis Grizzlies on the road. One at home against the Houston Rockets at Crypto.com Arena. And how they would respond to these two tests. We already know what happened on the road trip. We already know what happened to that loss against the Chicago Bulls, that loss against the Orlando Magic. They ended up going 2-2 with that win, or had a chance actually to go 1-3 if they lost that game to the Memphis Grizzlies. You had two teams top 5 in the Western Conference that you were going to face. You had two teams that you were going to get a chance to go against, and we're going to kind of find out what you're all about. These were two big-time W's for the Lakers. And tonight, I really want to emphasize this when I say this. If you want to know what playoff basketball looks like in 3 weeks, just go watch tonight's game again. Go watch the highlights. Go watch SportsCenter. Tune in here for the post game. Go watch Spectrum. If you want playoff-style basketball, just watch what you saw tonight between the Lakers and the Houston Rockets. That's exactly what it was. Big win for the Lakers. I'm going to kind of go off on a couple different tangents here. First thing that I'm going to say here, the first thing that I would mention this is Houston is going to be a very, very ugly team to face in the playoffs. If the Lakers end up with the Houston Rockets at any point in the playoffs, just expect a dogfight between these two teams. And that's exactly what you got tonight, and that's exactly what you're going to get with the Houston Rockets. There's some young teams in the Western Conference that 100% are going to be an issue down the road for any team in the Western Conference. And I think the Houston Rockets are one of those teams. But like I said, I'm gonna go back to what I said. I really, really felt like you're going to get a chance to see what the Lakers are all about in these last two games. And the win against the Memphis Grizzlies where they could put up 130 points, or the win against the Houston Rockets. This is what I think makes the Lakers so interesting. I do think they can win multiple ways. And the way they won tonight was, you want to play ugly and you want to play defense, then we'll play ugly and we'll play defense. If it was the Memphis Grizzlies, we got to score 130 to beat you, then we'll score 130 to beat you. Stylistically, I do feel like the Lakers can put on a couple different hats, and I don't think all teams can do that. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you guys that Lakers, because they won on Saturday against Memphis and because they beat the Houston Rockets tonight, that they're going to go win an NBA championship this year. But what I will tell you is these were two big games. Those were two big games. If you look at the last 4 games that the Lakers won, or I'm sorry, the last 4 games that the Lakers played, 3 of the last 4 wins for the Lakers are against good, solid teams in the playoffs. Let me see if I caught it in time, and I may not have. I know Trudell's with Dorian Finney Smith.
Compliment the players that are creating those advantages.
It feels good, man. We just got to keep it going. Down the stretch, all these games are important. So I'm just trying to do my job, and that's shoot the ball with confidence and live with the result.
All right, so plus-minus leader again on your team. I always keep track for it. Not that you're caring about that. You just want to get the victories. How comfortable and how happy are you to be here in the purple and gold?
I'm just happy we're getting the win, man. We're playing some meaningful basketball. Just try to come in and give my energy, and I'm happy we got the win.
All right, thanks, Soto.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's Dorian Finney Smith with Mike Trudell, obviously Spectrum Sportsnet. I'll leave this up here if you guys can see it. Did I leave that up? I did. How about that? How about that tonight? You want to know how the Lakers beat the Houston Rockets tonight? You don't have to go any further than these two players off the bench for the Los Angeles Lakers. 20 from Dorian Finney-Smith, 20 from Gabe Vincent, 12 three-pointers between those two players. Big-time minutes, big-time shots, big-time buckets, especially after the second quarter. After the first quarters where the Lakers started hitting those threes. There's your – how did the Lakers win tonight? You're watching it right there. You see the screen right there from Spectrum Sportsnet. Obviously that's an easy one to point out. Let's start talking about the game, some of the players tonight and everything else. But I did want to start off the post-game show saying two things. Saturday night, it's a big-time win. Monday night, it's a big-time win. Those are two really, really important wins for the Lakers. At the absolute least, it keeps them in a great spot to try to stay top 4 in the Western Conference. It also keeps them alive for the number 3 spot. It also doesn't close the door at the number 2 spot, depending what happens the rest of the way for the Lakers. Another matchup they got, obviously, against the Houston Rockets. Still another one against the Golden State Warriors. 2 against OKC. So there's going to be some tough games in between here. All right, let's talk about the individual players. You know who I don't see on here that I was hoping that would call me right after this game was Ryan Hollins. Did you guys watch the show this morning? I'm going to have to text Ryan Hollins. I'll have to see what he says about some of his comments this morning. Hey, he's got every right to feel confident about the Houston Rockets. That's a good, young team. I mean, they're a headache. And to be honest with you, I think they're going to be more of a headache even in the playoffs. But something that Ryan Hollins was saying this morning when him and I were talking, Ryan Hollins, 10-year vet in the NBA, came on the show this morning. He does Rockets TV. So he's obviously part of that entire mix there. And phenomenal. I'm a big fan of him and big fan of what he does. But the chest couldn't have been further out about the Houston Rockets. And I'm telling him, I'm like, he had said something that if the Lakers start going down, they might have to just call it a wrap and move on to the next game. I'm like, Ryan, I get that the Houston Rockets are a good team. Nobody's saying that they're not a good team. And they probably are disrespected just because they haven't really been there yet. And we're not really 100% sure what to expect from them in the playoffs. This game wasn't going to be a blowout. I mean, this is a very, very important game for the Lakers as well. And the Lakers play really well at home. We know they got, one of the better home records in the NBA. So I didn't think either way. I would have been shocked if the Rockets won by 4 or 5 points or something like that. But nobody was running away with this game by 20 or something along those lines. I think we all kind of knew that wasn't going to happen. With all that being said, the game was remarkably ugly to start the game. I thought it was interesting too. I thought, the way that the Houston Rockets were playing the Lakers, not too much of a shock. They were going to play them in a zone. They're going to bait the Lakers to shoot threes, and not just bait the Lakers to shoot threes. There's certain guys they want to shoot threes. If Rui Hachimura, if this shot's not going or if he doesn't feel comfortable with it, Houston's going to live with that. Ime Udoka's going to say, "I'll take our chances with that. What the hell do you want us to do?" If Jared Vanderbilt is firing away threes, if Jordan Goodwin's taking threes, he's going to live with the result of that. But obviously, what he wasn't expecting from the Lakers is to have Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent go off the way they did. I'll mention something to you guys here because I know we've talked about it before. Let me start with DFS, and then I'll get to Gabe Vincent. Let me first go Dorian Finney-Smith. DFS, I've talked about this. The moment that trade happened for D'Angelo Russell, I'm like, please, I mean, how can I help chip in for the flight for D'Angelo Russell to Brooklyn? I'm happy to chip in. I got mileage that I'm happy to use that maybe if I can help save a couple $100 for the Lakers to get D'Angelo Russell to Brooklyn, I'm happy to help. If you want me to drive him down to LAX, let's save that, whatever that expense is, let me help. That's my gas mileage. I'm happy to help in any way possible. D'Lo goes to Brooklyn. Look at D'Lo getting shots fired at him. He didn't even do anything. When Dorian Finney-Smith came over, there was, this is the type of guy that you want in the playoffs. This is the type of guy that you want in the trenches with you. And this is before the Luka trade happened, before any of that stuff happened. So with that in mind, I'll come back to this. Let me come back to DFS. JJ's talking. Let's get his thoughts here real quick on the Lakers win.
We had to play really hard tonight to put ourselves in a position to win the basketball game. We set a season high for catch and shoot threes with 29. A lot of those were uncontested. We were 2 for 16 on uncontested threes in the first half. I feel like, we left a lot on the table, and they did a really good job, I thought, of not allowing us at times to get the matchups that we wanted with some of their scrams. They have a great defense. They communicate well. They're big. They're athletic. They're strong. But we weathered some missed shots, did a good job of taking care of the basketball, limited them to 13 fast break points and 10 second chance points, made them play in the half court. Our guys really competed on that. They left everything on, they emptied the tank. They emptied the tank on the defensive end. It was fantastic.
JJ, Houston played some huge lineups, and I think you were small for a pretty good portion. What allowed those units to have success, and what's the key when you're in those formations against a team like that?
Well, defensively, it's just packing the paint and getting rebound. I think we did that tonight. LeBron 8 rebounds, Austin 8 rebounds, Luka 6 rebounds, Doe 6 rebounds, Gabe 4 rebounds, Vando 6 rebounds. That's how we have to control the glass is by committee. This was very explicit. If you're on Şengün and Adams, you're not going to get the rebound. Your job is to box out. It's somebody else's job to come in, tip the ball to a teammate or grab the rebound. We were great with that tonight.
When we were in Memphis, you told us that you liked the way that the team kept going to Dorian on the 3-point line, even though he was missing some, and he hit a big one tonight. His best game offensively as a Laker. Have you had to coach him up to be able to keep shooting? For him, it's probably feels strange to shoot 11 threes when you have Austin and LeBron and Luka as teammates. Yeah. But do you have to kind of unlock that in him?
They should have been 14. He should have shot 14 and passed up 3. I think his teammates have a ton of confidence in him. We as a coaching staff have a ton of confidence. He needs gentle reminders sometime to keep shooting. And particularly, look, the type of shots that he gets, whether that's a corner 3 or a pick and pop versus a 5, they're open shots. We're not going to get a better shot. He has to be willing to unload the clip every night.
All right, final one here.
JJ, I know you kind of already touched on it, but it felt like they were really making a point to get the big 3, the ball out of their hands and into everyone else's hands. And you could tell that kind of by their field goal attempts. How did you feel like you guys handled that? And is this kind of like a reference point for the playoffs when you're playing teams that are probably going to try and do the same thing? Yeah,
I think, Houston, they have the personnel to do that. Our 3 guys that are our primary creators and shot takers, I thought just did a good job of being patient and taking what was there. And if they wanted the ball to find Gabe and Dorian, I think those guys responded well. They shot 12 for 24 from 3. Again, it's just a willingness to take shots. And it wasn't just the 2 of them. Rui missed 5 threes that were open. We generated good stuff. It was very obvious that, they were trying to take away Jackson's roles. They were loading to Bron. They were loading to AR. They were trying to not allow us to score in the paint. And then, with their 5s, they never went to a switch. They never went to a red. So it was just all pick and pop. And again, we want those guys taking those shots if they're there.
All right, we'll stop right there. That's JJ Redick, obviously, for the Lakers, and Lakers with a big win over the Rockets, 104-98. All right, let me get back to what I was talking about, Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent, and I'm going to start looking at some of your comments. If you're here, you're hanging out, and you've yet to subscribe to this channel, what the hell are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, let's let me finish with Dorian Finney-Smith. I remember when DFS came here, and you knew you got the right guy for a playoff push. You knew that you were going to get a dude that was going to play defense. This is before even the Luka trade happened. We know his relationship and how much attention Luka and LeBron are going to are going to just, obviously a lot of attention is going to go to them. So DFS is also going to get open looks. And there was a time where it's like, Dorian, you got to hit more threes. He was shooting 44% from Brooklyn when he got traded over to the Lakers. Okay, let me, I know this is a much shorter window, but let me just kind of put the 2 together. Gabe Vincent, last year, I forgot Gabe Vincent was a Laker. Unfortunately, he was injured for most of the year. And then this season started, and the first couple of months, it was like, Why the hell the Lakers pay Gabe Vincent? What happened to the Gabe Vincent that was in Miami that had that playoff run that was a big-time player, a defender, a guy that can hit threes? Both of these guys have a similar role. Now, they're different. Gabe Vincent's obviously a lot smaller. He's going to guard guards. DFS can guard multiple players. Whatever you need from Dorian Finney-Smith, he's going to be able to do it. They're going to get looks. If those shots aren't falling from DFS or Gabe Vincent, and tonight's a perfect example of the type of looks that the Houston Rockets were giving them, that's going to be a problem. These guys got to contribute. Lakers, listen, there isn't a huge margin of error for the Lakers. There just isn't. This team, this roster is not perfect. They got great players. They have superstars. They got guys that understand their role. But we all know by the time the offseason comes, Lakers and Rob Pelinka, he's going to try to figure out, okay, what are the things that I'm going to need here? I guess he's learning from as you finish the regular season, you get into the playoffs, what does it look like? And then the Lakers will make their adjustments. But players like Dorian Finney-Smith got to play their role. If you're a 3-and-D guy, you got to hit your threes. Gabe Vincent, if you're getting $11 million a year, it came from Miami. Lakers obviously signed you. That was an important signing for them from a role player. You got to do the things that the reasons why the Lakers signed you. You got to be able to deliver here for a Laker. Rui Hachimuro's got a role. Jared Vanderbilt's got a role. Jackson Hayes got a role. I'm not telling you these guys got to be perfect every night, but you got to have 4 or 5 guys contributing every single night. LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, obviously they got to do what they're supposed to do. We all know that. And we all know what the expectations are for those 3 players. But you need other guys to step up. Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent, just phenomenal tonight. Brilliant tonight what those 2 players were able to do for the Lakers. All right, let's get ready here. I'm going to start looking at everybody's comments, but I am just going to point out as well. Bron, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 block shots. How about that block from LeBron on Şengün with the Lakers up 4, and it eventually kind of sealed the game? Dillon Brooks ended up missing a corner 3. How about that block from LeBron James? What a play from LeBron. He was +9, by the way, second best plus-minus behind Dorian Finney-Smith with +16. Luka tonight, 20 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Guys, the reason why Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, 12 points, 8 rebounds, just 3 assists for him and 2 steals. The reason why this game really wasn't the type of game that you would like to have from your 3 stars, a couple reasons. Number one, Houston's a badass defensive team. They're agreed. I'm gonna spend a little time talking about Houston. I got no problem giving Houston credit. That's going to be a tough out in the playoffs for a lot of teams, whoever ends up with the Houston Rockets. But with that in mind, Houston basically said, LeBron, Luka, and AR, we're going to try every time any 3 of you touch the ball, we're going to do everything we can to force you guys to pass the ball and make some of these other guys beat us. And that's exactly what happened tonight with Dorian Finney-Smith and with Gabe Vincent. All right, I talked enough. I'm going to shut the hell up now. I'm going to start looking at everybody's comments here. And we're going to get the show started here. I mean, we already got the show started, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Amir, man, I'm so happy we won. It looked like LeBron and Luka were gassed. Shout out to Vincent and DFS. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. There were definitely times where, you're watching this game and you're saying to yourself, Lakers going to have the right amount of energy towards the end of this game to close it out. Both teams were grinding. By the time the first quarter was done, it was 19-16. And that's because both teams hit a 3, I think, in their final possession of the quarter. It was 13-13 with about a minute left in the first quarter. I mean, just a grinded out, ugly win for both sides. And both sides look gassed. Both sides look tired. Both sides look like they went 12 rounds in a heavyweight fight and were walking away with lumps and bruises on their forehead and saying, all right, that was a good fight. That was a good fight. All right, Amir, thank you for the super, brother. I appreciate you. Mitch Potter, that right there felt like playoff basketball. That was playoff basketball. There's going to be a lot of matchups that you see in the first round of the playoffs coming up. In the Western Conference, none of it's going to look as tough as what you just saw tonight. None of it's going to look as tough in the Eastern Conference as well. Tonight felt like a second-round matchup in the Western Conference. those tough games. Every single game is going to be tough. Every single game, somebody's going to look like they're gassed or tired or something along those lines. Mitch, I appreciate the super. I couldn't agree more. Floyd Sleeweather, we all know. Thomas, I appreciate you. I actually kind of like to think I'm kind of a combination. Redick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, a little bit of the late, great George Foreman. You know, I like to kind of craft my game around a few different fighters, you know, a few different fighters out there. But I see where you're going with Mayweather. I see what you got there. Slee, most channels this size have mods. It's time. I haven't even looked on that. Right now, Mitch, Slee was solo at the moment. Don't worry about that. That will come when it comes. I appreciate the comment, buddy. David Sabatini, watching Dodgers postgame. Here's $5. Buy yourself a cup of coffee tomorrow. David, I appreciate your support to the channel, brother. Thank you for your support to the channel here. All right, let's get some more comments here. Let's see what we got. All right. Got a lot of comments in here. Every generation of winning Lakers basketball has big contributors from role players. Kurt Rambis to Robert Horry to Sasha to KCP to now Gabe and DFS. Well, listen, I don't know if this team, you know, I think they got a long way to go. Let's put it that way. A long way to go before we think they could be a true the top 2 or 3 teams in the NBA. That's just not where the Lakers are. And they still got a long way to go. I mean, we got 7 games left in the regular season, but I know what you're referring to there. And I've talked about this before. Let's look at the top teams right now in the NBA. You got to go 5-6 deep, minimum 5-6 deep. And I'm talking about guys every single night are there, 5-6 players that are doing what they're doing. So that part I agree with. You got to obviously have these contributors, and you obviously got to have big-time players on a night-in, night-out basis. Let's keep going. Tonight is the reason why we want Memphis in the first round, not Houston. So it's funny, T-Wrong, I think it was on Friday, I brought this up as a topic. And it was before the Lakers were going to play Memphis, and it was before they even fired their coach, Taylor Jenkins. And I had mentioned exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, I'll be honest with you. And I hadn't seen Houston play in a long time against the Lakers. Stylistically, Houston's a tough out. Houston is a very, very tough out. Got that idiot again. All right. This guy's he's going to lose. All right, we'll come back to that in just a second. I had mentioned the same thing. I had mentioned the exact same thing. I had said that I'd rather play Memphis just because I thought Memphis, it didn't feel like they're as connected. Houston, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a coach in Ime Udoka. You had Taylor Jenkins over there, who I thought was a good coach. He obviously got fired. Between these two teams, Houston's an ugly matchup. That's an ugly matchup. And I don't know if that's going anywhere anytime soon. I think they're going to be an ugly matchup for a while. Nobody in the Rockets wanted to take control down the stretch of Rockets. They better figure out play of time. You know, I will say this. If you tried to find a flaw for the Houston Rockets, and I think Reggie Miller was saying it on the broadcast, who takes the last shot? I mean, they didn't have Jalen Green in the game at the end of the game. Fred VanVleet was 2 of 14 from the field. He was struggling. We know how bad he was during the game. Who takes the final shots for, you know, specifically for the Houston Rockets? That's going to be the one area that's going to be the question for them. And I don't even know if they have an answer for that yet. That is the one piece that they are currently missing. It's very kind of simply put, the one piece that they're missing is who takes the final shots for them. Let's get some more comments in here. Where is Ryan Hollins? I texted him. I'm a nice guy. Here's what I told him. I said, Rockets are going to be a problem in the playoffs. Crazy talent. That's all I said. I didn't run my mouth. You know? I just basically said they're going to be an issue. But I believe that. They are going to be an issue. You know, what the Houston Rockets didn't need to do tonight, they didn't have to win this game. They didn't have to win it. I think actually Ryan Hollins said something interesting. He said that if they lose, it at least gives them something to work on. So their ego is not inflated. So they don't think like, oh, hey, we're untouchable or something along those lines. Here's what he said back. He said, LeBron took Şengün all game. Listen, I don't want to sound like here that I'm Nostradamus, but I did tell him, I said, don't be surprised if LeBron's on Şengün. We've seen that before against some of these. He's been going up against some of these bigs, and LeBron is a headache for a lot of people. He just is. LeBron knows the game. He understands the game. And he also said Finney and Vincent, obviously talking about DFS and Gabe Vincent doing their thing. So I would. Where's Ryan Hollins? Ryan Hollins is probably at home, and he's texting me at the moment, and we're going back and forth. And I will tell you, that'd be a tough series. That would be a really, really tough series. That's a series where I think kind of depending on how and the style of play that the referees let the game be played in the playoffs, Houston would be a headache in the playoffs. But I think the point being made of who kind of takes the final shot, who's the guy that you the go-to guy in the last couple of minutes, I don't think they have one. I don't think they have one consistently, unless they're just not using. Unless I'm not watching enough Rockets games, I don't know if they have one consistently there. Okay, I know we're going to get let's take a quick listen. Luka's talking. Let's see what Luka's got to say about the win over the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, we're fine in 2 days.
Okay. JJ mentioned clearly, Houston was kind of selling out to prevent the lob to Jackson, certain things with you getting downhill, or LeBron and Austin. Did you feel like the patience to get the ball to Dorian, get the ball to Gabe, cut at your shooters? Is that just how you have to play in that situation?
Yeah, definitely. Just to what the difference give you, they got to give you something at some point. So once we saw them doing that, we're just telling those guys to shoot.
And just, I know you have the confidence from Dorian, going back for years now. Okay, well, fair enough. Your banter aside, with that level, and then how do you feel also just with Gabe and your other teammates now, and how comfortable are you with the rest of the roster as well?
Great, very comfortable. As you saw today we fought really hard. It was a very physical game, and we got to play like this every game. If we play like this on the defensive end, on offense, we didn't do much outside Gabe and Dodo, but we share the ball. We're playing forward with pace, and we just got to play like that.
You like giving Dorian a hard time. You guys go back a ways as teammates, but what's it like trying to get him to shoot as many times as he did tonight? Do you have to encourage him some? And JJ was telling us that the looks he's getting are probably as good as the look you're going to get on the team. Do you have to kind of keep reminding him that please keep shooting?
No, I just told him today, if you don't want to shoot it, I'll shoot it. Honestly, you can ask him. I think he could have shot more. Even he was 3 or 4 times he was open, he didn't want to shoot it. So that's the only thing I told him. And he knows how to tell him.
Do you recognize, though, his maybe reluctance to do that, considering, there is you and LeBron and Austin, like really talented offensive players, and he plays a team style of brand of basketball that you understand the why he maybe is not just looking to gun?
Yeah, but he talked in practice when he shoots with me, so I don't see why he don't want to do it in the game. But no, I mean, he's a great player. Those players you need on team. Never complain. Play 48 minutes, play 0. He's never gonna say a thing, and he's a fighter, man. Always love him. Always love how he plays, and just happy to be reunited with him.
Luka, JJ said, but with so few games remaining, you guys have started to talk a little bit more about seeding and the playoffs as a group, and that this point of the season is about ramping up for the playoffs and just that urgency. Have you felt that, especially these last couple of games against Memphis and Houston, from you guys?
Yeah, definitely. That's that was 4th in the West or 5th and 2nd in the West. Those are potential playoff matchups, and we knew what we need to do. So I think that's how we play hard, and that we just went out and wanted to get a win.
Luka, on that note, what do you think
final one
could
here.
mean with the group having to go through different ups and downs with close games as of late? What it could mean to you guys for the playoffs with getting ready for that?
What do you mean ups and downs?
Well, just having some close games, Indiana, Chicago, tonight?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many games. There's always going to be some close games. But one we closed and one we didn't. So sometimes if they make a half-court shot, there's not a lot you can do. But those games that you lose like that build you up, and that helps the team, I think.
All right, stop right there. Kind of keep things rolling here. They're talking about the NBA standings. By the way, I like that. Yeah, a lot of times just being around the NBA for a decent amount of years. By the way, I'll be going to the game Thursday against the Golden State Warriors, and we'll talk a little bit about that game. That's going to be an interesting one. But being around that, a lot of times, these guys, everyone will say, nah, we don't look at the standings. We're just paying attention to this. I'm like, just say look at the standings. It's okay. We're all looking at the standings. These games are important. Home court advantage would be phenomenal. If you beat a team like Memphis, you get a little bit of a cushion on them. If you beat a team like Houston, you get a little bit closer. So JJ Redick obviously talked a little bit about that. These games are all key, and we do understand what's at stake. And nobody's got to BS each other. There's a comment here, and Amir, thank you for the super brother. I think really, really says a lot. The game shows why home court advantage is so important for this team. You got to at least have it for the first round. And, I still don't know who the hell the Lakers are going to play. Memphis lost again. I think you're going to start looking at Memphis less in the standings, and you're going to start looking at the other teams like the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Memphis looks like they're going the wrong way. So with that in mind, that 4-5 matchup, do you want a game 7 against the Golden State Warriors at home, or do you want it up in the Bay in San Francisco at Chase Center? Or do you want that game in Minnesota? Or if the Lakers are able to get to the number 3 seed and they got the Warriors again, do you want 3-6 matchup, something along those lines, or Memphis to use as an example? Want that at home or not? So I do think with how the Lakers have played at Crypto, let's try to get as many home games as you can. They're 29-9 at home. It's the second best record in the Western Conference. 29-9 at home is the only team better than the Lakers are the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I feel like haven't lost a game in a year and a half. So something to keep in mind. Amir, thank you for the super brother. I appreciate you very much. Let me get another one of these in here. Adrian Cortez followed you here from 710. Great coverage. Keep up the work. Speaks for itself. Will LeBron see more time at the 5 in the playoffs? Number one, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's funny. I was kind of asking myself, I'm like, how many people probably used to listen to me at 710 and have no idea that this is what I'm doing now, and they could still get me, and they could still get my Lakers covers, and they could still get me Monday through Friday here on YouTube. So kind of is what it is for now. But thank you, brother. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Will LeBron see more time at the 5 in the playoffs? I think it will be based on matchups. I think it will be based on circumstances. I think it will be based on lineups. Let me give you an example. If the Lakers are playing the Golden State Warriors, you're a lot less worried about real size. If the Lakers are playing Denver, I know they wouldn't play them in the first round, then that's a different conversation. If they're playing the Clippers and Ivica Zubac is there, maybe that's a different conversation. Or they're playing the Rockets and you got Şengün and Steven Adams and some of these other players, you're probably not going to have a choice. I mean, I don't know if ideally the Lakers want him at the 5, but if they need him to play the 5, guys, this is the part that I hope people understand. There aren't too many players in the league, let alone in their 22nd season in the NBA. Where do you want them to play? Want me to be the ball handler and bring the ball up the court? I can do that. Want me to spot up in the corner because we got somebody else that's playing the ball, playing on the ball? Cool. I'll handle that. No problem. All right. You want me to kind of shift a little bit defensively? You want me to go guard a 4 or 5? I'll go do that. That's what LeBron's going to have to do. Maybe it's not an ideal situation, but that's the predicament Lakers are in. That's the lineup that they have. Thank you for the super, brother. I appreciate it. Anybody that sent in a super, thank you very much. Hero Sun, this one felt like a playoff game from the beginning, like how they kept their foot on the pedal. Lakers in 5. This is actually going to go with another comment in there. I'm going to kind of tie these together. And Hiro-san, I'm going to come back to you. I was reading this from Anonymous Nobody. We control the game. I'd rather have a 3 to 8 point lead all game long and have the Lakers focused instead of a 20-point lead and have them lose interest. There's a lot of truth to that. I hate it, but there's a lot of truth to that. Lakers get comfortable for some reason. They got comfortable against Memphis. They got comfortable against Chicago. They got comfortable against Indiana. Some of these losses that they had, and even games that they ended up winning, you're like, how is this close at the end? So I think there's some truth to that. So Hiro-san, to kind of go back to this, they kept their foot on the pedal because they didn't have a choice, right? Because if you don't, and you're not detail-oriented against the Houston Rockets, you're going to take an L. Let's take a quick listen. Here's LeBron on the Lakers win against the Rockets.
Of that being successful heading into the postseason, what will that look like for this team?
Urgency, playing with urgency. We know that we got a lot of playoff experience in this locker room, but we all know that one play here, one play there can be the difference between winning the playoff series or not. So, playing with urgency, playing with physicality, and then holding each other accountable. That's most important.
Are you someone that looks at the standings? Have you done that in the past? And why not?
BT, little Brad Turner there.
Well, because it's so close here. This year in particular, it's so close and people are jumping each other, falling behind, whatever the case may be. It's not like I don't do it every day, but, it's talked about pretty much all the time, and you kind of see where you're at. For us, obviously, our mission is to lock in a playoff spot and not have to play in the play-in. So we understand what's at stake.
What was the read off of their inbounds play where Şengün caught the ball? I think Austin was on his back.
What a block.
Did you see in terms of
I just read tendencies. I know tendencies a lot of what players like to do, and that was just a read. And AR, did a great job of not just giving him a straight line to the basket. And I just tried to cover for my teammate.
I think the last time you asked about this, you said you weren't trying to Warrior look too far ahead, but 6 games back from the groin injury. I guess progress-wise, where are you at in terms of physically and your rhythm and to where you want to be before?
I'm getting better every day. Every game, I'm starting to feel a little bit better, after the injury. My wind is getting back a little bit better, besides coming off that last road trip and being under the weather once again. I'm getting back.
On the fact that you all have
All right, final one.
Close games, both with wins and losses lately, what do you think that can do to prepare the group for the playoffs?
I understand even keel. Don't get too high, don't get too low, no matter what's going on throughout the course of the ball game. And win, lose, or draw, if you go out and you have your game plan intact, you try to execute that to 48 minutes, then give yourself a good chance to win every night.
All right, we'll stop right there. Keep things rolling. I will say this. I don't know how you guys felt or how you guys feel about this, but has he looked 100% healthy to you? LeBron doesn't look 100% healthy to me. He still looks like he's kind of working his way back. That version of LeBron we had before the injury was as good as I've seen LeBron in a couple of years. There are a lot of conversations that this dude's still top 7 in the NBA, top 5. I'm not going to sit here and try to list down every player, but he was in that conversation of like, this dude's really, really still playing as good as you can possibly play. And obviously he's doing it in year 22. I think there's some positives to say. I don't think he's looking like himself still. I still, there are times you're seeing him out there and I'm like, all right, one of two things are happening. Either the man is just older because he's 40, playing with a bunch of guys that are in their mid-20s or early 30s or whatever the case is, the mileage, the minutes, and everything else. And then I think on top of that, there's the other side of it. It's like, no, I also don't feel like he looks all that healthy. I believe that. And I think what I would say is the good thing with that is you got 7 games left. It's funny how LeBron said that our goal is to avoid the play-in tournament. All right, let's just kind of go through the goals here real quick. First goal is to make the playoffs. Lakers are going to make the playoffs. Second goal is to avoid the play-in tournament. Right now, here's where the Lakers are sitting with 7 games left. A 3-game cushion on the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Clippers. And they have the tiebreaker. I know they have the tiebreaker on the Clippers. Maybe on Minnesota as well. I think they have the tiebreaker on the Timberwolves as well. They're not falling to the play-in. Knock on wood, nothing crazy happens. All right, there's another goal that you're setting for yourself. Can you get home court in the first round? Well, Memphis has lost 3 in a row. Lakers already beat Memphis. They got the tiebreaker on Memphis. So now they have a 3-game lead on the Memphis Grizzlies. If you count the tiebreaker, there's a good chance they're going to have first round. So really what you're looking at is there a way to pass Denver? Is there a way to catch Houston? So that and I'm not telling you that that's going to be easy, but that's kind of the position that the Lakers are in. That's the circumstance that they find themselves in. If I go to one of my favorite websites, tankathon.com, strength of schedule tankathon. Lakers now, after tonight's win, still have the 3rd toughest schedule left in the NBA. Houston's got the 4th toughest schedule, so that's good news for the Lakers. Denver's got the 9th toughest schedule. Golden State's got the 10th toughest schedule. So you got a lot of teams that are, kind of in the same area as the Lakers, where there's still 10 tough games, or there's still a few teams that have the 10th toughest schedule, top 10 toughest schedule in the NBA. All right, we're going to start looking at more of your comments here. We're going to continue to take a look at that. We're going to continue to break down Lakers basketball. I think we'll probably still get a chance to hear from Austin Reeves, so we'll get a chance to do that. Before we go any further, I got to give a shout out to one of our partners. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Shout out to a partner of mine that used to be with me when I was at 710 ESPN that just loves what I'm doing and what I'm trying to build. Somebody that has owned his practice for about 10 years and had nothing but compliments to me when I was going out on my own journey because he is his own business owner, and he does like the idea and the fact that I'm kind of trying to do things on my own here and build my own brand and so forth. Brad Wallace of the Wallace Firm, known him for about 5 years. Here he is following me on YouTube. If you or someone close to you has been seriously injured or is dealing with the loss of a loved one, you should find out what legal options you have. You deserve the absolute best in the business. And I'm telling you, the best in the business is Brad Wallace and his team. When it comes to holding insurance companies accountable and maximizing case results, go to my guy, Brad Wallace, his legal team at the Wallace Firm. They're the real deal. I can make a personal introduction if you guys would like that. I hope nobody is ever in this predicament or situation, but life happens. Things happen. There's nothing you could do about it. And if you are, it's an intimidating, daunting process. Get a pro to work for you. Like I mentioned, I'm happy to make a personal introduction. If you send me an email and you want an intro to Brad Wallace, I will make it. Or you just go to our URL, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Get a free consultation, and he'll be able to help you. So shout out to Brad Wallace. Thank you very much for being a partner. And like I said, if this is a predicament or situation that you're in and you need some help, we can help you out. So we'll keep it at that, and we'll keep the show moving here. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments here. Like I said, if hypothetically we get Austin Reeves or something like that, I would like to hear from them. Let's see what the latest comments are. Every time I do this, we get pretty far here, and I start losing a lot of these comments. Slee, can we start late tomorrow? Because tonight was a hard-fought victory. T-Ron, listen, I think you bring up a good point. I got to be honest with you. I think there are I think you're absolutely right that tomorrow we should start a little bit later because we got bruised up. We got bruised up tonight. But let me tell you something. When that alarm goes off at 6:15 tomorrow morning, in about 8 hours or so, I'm going to be up, buddy. And I'm going to have my tea with my honey. And I'm going to come here and I'll come back to the drawing board. You want to show up at 8:15, you show up at 8:15. You want to show up at 8:30, you show up at 8:30. I'm going to be here at 8 a.m., brother. Right here at 8 a.m. You can always go back and just rewind it and catch the entire show. Frankly, if I were you, I probably wouldn't tune in until 10. Here I am dunking on my own channel. All right, let's see what else we have here. Brad Wallace bobblehead, please. Not bad. Brad Wallace told LeBron to watch Şengün on that last play. You're on to something here. I think you're on to something here. How about LeBron's block? Oh, my gosh. What a beautiful block. Slee said, no, you take the day off. Listen, I don't mind you taking the day off. You can take the day off. I just don't have a choice. Especially after a win like that, that makes these That makes these games funner. Makes these games funner to come in. All right, let's keep going here. I know I got a couple supers here. I'm gonna promote something here real quick for everybody, and I know I've been promoting it. You know, we're not that far away from getting 300 members a part of the channel. And for those who don't know what a membership is, let me explain it here real quick. It's $3 a month. It's a fantastic way to support the channel. You get to be an MVP member. What does that mean? It means you get exclusive content on Fridays when I'm done with my morning show. About a half hour later, I go live just with members, and we shoot the shit. We talk a little bit about the week that we just had, kind of start game planning for the week ahead. I take ideas from those who are members. I want members to have kind of a little bit piece of the pie. It's also just another great way to support the channel. So whatever it is for you, like I said, we're getting closer to 300 members. Would love to see us get as many members as possible. I put a link here in the chat, and if you click that link, you can join. So something to keep in mind there. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's go to. I'm going to see here if they end up going. It looks like they might be going to an Austin Reeves, or they're wrapping up. One or the other is coming here from Spectrum. They're going to Gabe. Even better. Get Gabe Vincent on a night where he drops 20 for the Lakers, 6 3-pointers. Here's Gabe Vincent.
It was a great test for us at this time of the year.
What did you think about the execution on both ends of the floor down the stretch?
I think it was great. I think we had to really compete and get some stops, and we were able to do that. And then we had to execute on the offensive end, whether it was running the set or getting the ball in, and we were able to execute.
They scored like 148 last night. You guys hold them under 100. What does it say about your ability to kind of focus on the task at hand and whatever the coach said asked you to do defensively, be able to do it?
Yeah, I think that was just what was required tonight. They were low scoring as well. It's a very defensive minded game, and we just had to continue to fight. You like this one? I appreciate it. Trying to be like you, man.
JJ mentioned pregame that guys are trying to build a playoff mentality. How have you seen that show itself between the Memphis win and tonight?
Just value in each possession. Everything matters when you get to the offs. You can't take plays off. So I think we saw moments of that here tonight as well. And we're just trying to continue to build that, especially down this last stretch.
How much you watching the standings night tonight?
Final one here.
Me personally, or just in general?
I meant more like as a team.
I think it's more so we're just aware of it. I wouldn't say we walk in the building and we have it posted on the wall by any means. We understand what's at stake. We understand what we got to do, and we're just trying to take one game at a time.
Stop right there. Gabe getting some shine tonight, as he definitely deserves. I love a lot of people talking about Gabe. Gabe, I like this. Gabe was ready for the bright lights with the sunglasses. Look clean. Let's not lie to each other here. Sunglasses looked solid right there. Gabe was balling tonight. I remember people gave up on Gabe. I got to be honest with you. What would kind of make you think something was going to change? Struggled with the injuries last year. This year got off to a really slow start. But Gabe Vincent in the last, let's call it month and a half. Oh, no. He's a player. Where's Gabe Vincent? Gabe Vincent's coming in. Cool. He can go off. He's not hesitating on those threes anymore. He's a feisty player. I like a player like Gabe Vincent too. Come postseason time, need guys like that. We want guys like that. So Gabe Vincent obviously making it happen and getting some recognition and some love like he definitely deserves. Him and DFS tonight were phenomenal. All right, let's see what else we got here. Gabe says he wears his sunglasses at night. Listen, you hit 6 threes in a big game against Houston, you do whatever you want. A lot of people shouting out UCSB. That's right, he's a gaucho. When I used to do the show with Travis in the mornings, that's all Travis would tell me. He's like, how'd Gabe do? That's all he cared about. He's a gaucho. All right, let's take a look at a couple more of these comments here. I got a few supers here that I want to get through. A couple shout outs here too. New member, SGA Sports Talk channel, became a YouTube member. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for being a member of the channel. Kevin has just become an MVP member. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much. That means the world to me that you guys have become members. I know a lot of the comments that come on here. There's a lot of members on here as well. HH throwing a super sticker, a 5 spot right there. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that as well. Let's see here. Scott Moore. I know you say after one big win, we shouldn't start marching down Figueroa, but doesn't this win deserve a mini march? Grand Marshal Slee, did we shoot too many threes? No, Scott, I'll tell you this, and Scott, thank you again for the super. I really do appreciate that. I started the post game showing that, or saying that, coming into Saturday after that loss against Chicago, and you got Memphis and Houston in front of you, if you took 2 L's in these games, you could be sitting in the play-in right now, or a half game out of that play-in, with still 7 to go. And with still the Rockets and still the Warriors and still the Oklahoma City Thunder, 2 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, yeah, this game had its significance, right? And the game on the game on Saturday had its significance as well. These were important games. These were key games. And listen, I don't know how the Lakers are going to do in the playoffs. I have no idea. I have no idea that by the time they get to the postseason, what it's going to look like, what the matchups are going to look like. So much of this is all new. It's the first time. This is why with Ryan Hollins, we were talking this morning. I was telling him, I'm like, I love this matchup because against Memphis, I hadn't seen Luka and LeBron and AR against the Memphis Grizzlies. I hadn't seen them against the Houston Rockets. We're going to get a chance to see them with the full squad and Jimmy Butler and everybody else against the Golden State Warriors coming up on Thursday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know how it's going to go in the postseason, but I do know that any team really in the Western Conference, doesn't it feel like there are a lot of teams that can beat each other? That there really is no team that's going to be a clear-cut favorite other than the Oklahoma City Thunder? The Thunder will be a clear-cut favorite, and they deserve to be a clear-cut favorite, but even they have flaws only because they've never got to the NBA Finals with this, obviously with this team. So naturally, there's going to be some flaws there. Scott, thank you for the super, brother. Did we shoot too many threes? Yeah, I guess this. And I'm going to look at the exact amount of threes. I don't think I saw it when I was going through some of the stats. 46 threes, probably a lot. 35% from the three-point line. I'm going to tell you this, and it's something that JJ Redick said early on. It's all going to come down to if they're good looks, take them. And you better hit them. And by the way, if it wasn't for Gabe Vincent and Dorian Finney-Smith hitting those 12 threes that they had, 6 for each of them, Rui was 1 of 6. LeBron did shoot 2 of 4. Luka was 1 of 7. Austin Reeves was 0 for 3. Jordan Goodwin was 0 for 2. So they're lucky that they had 2 guys that were hitting their threes because a lot of these other guys weren't hitting them. DFS is getting a chance to be behind the mic. Let's listen to Dorian Finney-Smith on the Lakers win.
The coaches, and how did you guys execute tonight?
When we go small, the main emphasis is boxing out. Obviously, we small, but everybody, but maybe Gabe or AR is 6'5" and under. Everybody else 6'5" and up, but. No disrespect to AR. I don't know how tall he is.
6'5", yeah.
Yeah, 6'5", yeah. But and then make a decision, put them in pick and roll and pop, and just make the best read.
You were getting a lot of open looks on that pick and pop. But what's it can be kind of a simple play, but what are the subtleties to it? What angles are you looking for, and then how have you grown there?
No, just if the big guard me or Rui. We just put him in action. Tonight they was guarding me, so I got the shots. And I think last time we played him, he was guarding Rui, and Rui got the shot. So it depends on whatever the big gonna guard.
Luka told us that his advice to you, or I guess demand to you, is that, hey, if you're not going to shoot him, I'll shoot him instead.
Yeah, he kept telling me that.
Do you, because of the way you play, very team-oriented style game, does that encouragement help? Because it's not maybe your nature to take 10+ threes a game.
For sure. Especially, I'm always want to make the right read. So if I see somebody running at me, I'm gonna make the swing. Like, bro, you hot player. Shoot the ball, So, it feels good when, guys like him and Brian telling me to shoot. It could be the other way around.
Even with that encouragement,
yeah, final one here.
I don't know. I can't think of a better word than disorienting when you do look at the box score when you see him.
I see people running at me, and I'm, I want to make the swing, or, I think for instance, we got a good look from Goody, but again, Luka like, bro, you just hit, you made 5 threes. What are you doing? So it's one of those, if it go in, yeah, but if you don't shoot it, they mad because you hot player. So I'm just happy they just kept finding me though.
All right, we'll stop it right there. DFS. Can I say this? Am I as I continue to take unwarranted shots at D'Angelo Russell? My God, I'm so glad to have DFS on this team. Phenomenal trade by Rob Pelinka. You need a guy like that. And D'Angelo Russell has his strengths. I don't think it's going to be on a team like this with the Lakers. And the Lakers, to have another defender, to have a guy, a positive vibe that he gives off, obviously his relationship, the respect that it feels like he has with a lot of these players, I think he's going to be big time in the playoffs. However the playoffs go, I think he's going to be big time for the Lakers. I think he's going to be really important for the Lakers. All right, let me get to a couple more comments here. We got a lot of comments still weighing in here, and try my best to get on here. Drum Recovery Network. I miss you on Lakers postgame 710. If Kleba gets healthy, is his defense still better than Koloko and Jameson? I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Here's the beauty is, even though I'm not on 710 anymore, you could still catch me right after the game. Obviously the one thing I do miss when you do have that is to be able to take phone calls and talk to people. That's something I will eventually add to this, but right now I'm just kind of focused on doing what I'm doing. But I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. Kleba gets healthy. I remember this. This is when Lakers traded for Luka February 1st. And then February, that was on a Saturday, February 2nd, 3rd, 4th. February 4th is when the presser came on Luka being introduced, Markieff Morris, and Maxi Kleba getting introduced as well. And at that time, Kleba said, or maybe the Lakers said, whatever it was, he's going to be reevaluated in 8 weeks. All right, technically February 4th, February 5th, something like that. By the time this week ends, supposedly he's going to get reevaluated. I haven't really heard anything on that front. I think it would be I don't think you could depend on Maxi Kleba to come back unless the Lakers kind of go further and further in the playoffs. So I think it's tough to kind of predict if Maxi Kleba and how would he fit in and everything else, unless you hear the Lakers saying, hey, he's already in 3-on-3 workouts, and now he's working on 5-on-5. And you know what? They think he's going to be back in 2 weeks, something like that. But until we get a little bit closer to that, I think it's tough to make any assessment. But I do appreciate the super brother. Let's get another one in here. Mitch Potter. First game I saw JJ adjust lineups. Matrix mind game for who has the hot hand or what the defense is doing. Seems to me like JJ is ramping up for the playoffs. I got no complaints about JJ. One of the few times I've complained about JJ was during that road trip. I hated the game against Chicago because I felt like we didn't run any plays towards the end of the game. I was using the example of in the NFL, whatever your football team is, where all of a sudden you go up 10 points and then your squad starts playing prevent defense and they're running the ball. And now you're giving that, the opponent a chance to come back in the game. You go away from trying to step on the opponent's throat. That was the only time that I could really think of over these last couple of months where I was upset at JJ Redick. It's like, JJ, what are you doing here? No, this is not how the Lakers should be playing this game. But as far as JJ ramping up for the playoffs, frankly, I think this entire season has already shown how good JJ Redick could potentially be as a head coach for the Lakers for years to come. I don't think he has an ego in a bad sense. I don't think, he's stubborn where, no, I started this guy and I'm going to keep him in the starting lineup, whether he's playing well or he's not. I don't think that really comes with JJ Redick. So we'll see what happens. Amin El-Hassan was on a week ago, and what he was trying to explain is it's a whole new ball game as a coach that you go from the regular season to the postseason. He's not wrong, but I don't have negative vibes, I think, towards JJ Redick. I think whatever he's going to need to do work-wise, how much time that he puts in, adjustments that he's going to make, film for other teams, I think he's going to put it in. I think that will show come playoff basketball. We'll see. I mean, I could have every assumption possible here. It doesn't mean anything until we actually get there. Mitch, it's a good point, and I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for that. Alex, welcome, buddy. Thank you for being an MVP member. You see, you ask, and you shall receive. We got 3 new members to the show today. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys being members. Let's get another one here. T-Wrong. Sleep, we need to slow our roll with OKC because they gave the Bulls the business tonight, who we struggled with. T-Rong, I think I think just 10 minutes ago, I just basically said, everyone in the Western Conference, it feels like, has got a shot against each other, except for the Thunder. The Thunder are the ones that seem like they're in their own world. They're in their own planet. And if you were listening to my show, I might have said it this morning, or maybe I said it during one of the post-game shows. It's why I want the Lakers out of the number 4 spot. I want to avoid the Oklahoma City Thunder till I have to play them. Until I have to play them, which would be in the Western Conference Finals. I would love to see Denver have to play them. Maybe Houston has to. Anybody, but the Lakers in the second round. So maybe I haven't communicated enough. OKC is a problem. And I know what you're talking about too. I'm like, is this the same Chicago Bulls team that beat the Lakers twice in the span of 5 days? So I'm with you on that. I think there's definitely some truth to that. And I definitely see where you're coming from on that. You know, something I didn't read all these Instagram comments. So I'm going to get to a couple of them here. Alan, sorry I'm late. You may have answered already. Why was Green benched end of game? I don't know. I heard Reggie Miller saying it, and especially, you know, you need some offense and you need some buckets. You thought they would go to Green on those final couple of possessions, and they didn't. I know he was struggling, but Jalen Green's a talented player. That's a guy that can go off in any game. All right, let's get a couple more in here, and then we're going to call it a day as well. We already went over an hour. Instagram, let's see. I got another one here. I guess the Lakers defense is back. Well, that's just Houston's style of play. Let me get one more here from Instagram. LeBron and Luka aren't up for that series. I think he's talking about Lakers and the Rockets. Be an ugly one. I could tell you that. It's going to be a very ugly series if that's the series. Skip the motivational king. Skip, thank you, brother. And thank you very much for the $10 super there. You're motivating me in the process here. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I believe we can go 6-1 in our last 7 games. I also believe we will have a third superstar next season, and LeBron will play 3 more years. Lakers in 6 first round. All right, let me kind of get these in chunks here. 6-1 in the last 7 games. All right, let me tell you what the Lakers got over their next 7. Okay. Golden State coming up on Thursday. Golden State coming up on Thursday. Another big game. Another game at home. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green. Fun one coming up on Thursday. I'm excited about that game. All right. Say they beat the Golden State Warriors. I'm gonna knock on wood here because I think that's going to be a dogfight too, and I think it could go either way. But Lakers have been so good at home. Let's give them the advantage there. They're 1-0. New Orleans just shut down Zion Williamson, and they shut down who else did they shut down? They shut down somebody else as well. I know Zion got shut down. All right. New Orleans has no interest in winning games. No interest in winning games. So Lakers should win that game. That's 2-0. Here's the question that's going to come for the Lakers. The question for the Lakers is going to come. Are the Oklahoma City Thunder trying to win games, yes or no? Because if they've already wrapped it up and they have no interest, but I wouldn't be surprised when they play the Lakers, at least in the game on Sunday, they try to hit the Lakers in the chin. That's going to be one of the questions. Dallas are actually fighting for a playing spot here, and they could very well enter CJ McCollum. That's right. It's Zion and it's CJ McCollum that they shut down. Dallas got something to play for. They're in the number 9 spot. Anthony Davis came back. They got something to play for. It's going to be Luka's first game in Dallas. That's going to be an interesting one. Still got another one against the Houston Rockets, and then you end the season against the Portland Trailblazers. 6-1 is a tough it's a tough ask, but we'll see how it plays out. I think it obviously will be interesting to see what happens from here. The part that a third superstar next season, I don't know how that will work. What are you trading away? Is Austin Reeves part of a trade to go get another superstar? I think this front office wants to keep Austin Reeves, so I'm not sure what's going to happen on that front. And Lakers in 6 in first round, it means they move to the second round. I'm in with you. Thank you for the super, brother. Tom, thank you for the super. Man on the Lakers by Talented Blake. Check it. Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me to check that out. All right, I'll check it. And Tom, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. I got to check that out. I'm going to take an internal note here. Man on the Lakers. I'm going to put this in my notes here. I got you. Man on the Lakers by Talented Blake. I'm on it. All right. I'm on it. I'll check that out. All right, a couple more comments here, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. Last thing I want to do as well is I want to talk about the Lakers taking on the Golden State Warriors. All right, unless I'm being played with here, we'll take our chances. Golden State Warriors coming up on Thursday. Okay, we're going to get a lot of time to talk about this game. I got Anthony Slater. Who covers the Golden State Warriors, coming on Thursday. So keep that in mind. So we'll get a chance to talk to him about that game specifically. Let me check something out with the Golden State Warriors. I know they've been winning. I know Steph was out for a little bit, but I'm pretty sure Steph is back. To be honest with you, I haven't paid attention to them. I know the Warriors have snuck back into the top 6, and frankly, I think they're going to pass the Memphis Grizzlies. You know what could happen, which is kind of crazy here. We could easily see the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors in the first round. Don't be surprised by that at all. Last game for the Warriors, they beat the Spurs. They dropped 148. Steph is back in the lineup. Yeah, they're an interesting team too all of a sudden. They get Jimmy Butler. They go on the streak that they went on. They clearly have been playing some good basketball, and they're the Warriors. They have championship pedigree, and they added another championship pedigree type of player in Jimmy Butler. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a really, really fun game. Now, I know the Warriors got, I think on their schedule, they got Memphis before they play the Lakers. Do I have that right here? They got Memphis. They're at Memphis. So they'll play tomorrow, and then they'll fly to LA and get ready for the Laker game. It's going to be an exciting matchup. That's what you want. You know, this time of the year, you want as many good matchups as you can possibly get. Take your chances with what it looks like and just kind of live with the result. Did Jimmy win a championship? He did not, but that dude's got championship pedigree. I mean, he got the Miami Heat twice in the NBA Finals at years that the Miami Heat just did not have the type of roster that I think should have made it to the NBA Finals. But that's when I say championship pedigree, I'm not saying that he technically won a championship. I'm saying that guy is wired like a champion. Golden State wants that 5 spot. One-on-one at Echo in 30 minutes, Lee. Going to post you up. Mateo, 45 minutes, I'll be there. You pick the court. I'll be there. I'm coming in sandals, too. I'm not even lacing them up against you. You see my crossover? Hit you with a little Euro step, couple pump fakes, draw the foul, and one. Kiss it off the glass with the left hand. I stare at my left hand when I hit my shot. Don't do it, Mateo. Don't do it, brother. You don't want this. All right, I think we're done. I think we're done here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. It was a fun show. It was a good win. It was kind of an exciting game, and like I said, it was definitely a playoff game, and you guys got almost an hour and 10 minutes out of me. I'll be back on in 35 minutes, it seems like. That's when the morning show starts. All right, thank you to everybody that joined the show, hung out tonight. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you to all the new members. Thank you to the current members. Thank you to all the super chats that are out there. And thank you to Brad Wallace of the Wallace Firm for being a great partner of the channel as well. I appreciate everybody. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Get back with you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a great